Thank you all for your greetings in the chat. And those of you putting the greetings there, and I take them as representative of many of you who don't have access to the chat, and so thank you all very much for being here. So the topic of this week is mindfulness of emotions, and one of the ways of thinking about mindfulness and emotions is that mindfulness is giving breathing room to our emotions. It's making more space for them to be there. And one of the remarkable things that can happen with meditation practice as the mind becomes more calm or steady or open is that it can feel like there's actually a lot of space in the mind, in the heart, in the body for everything, for the inner processing that goes on, so including for our emotions. And so rather than thinking that we have to solve an emotion or fix an emotion or do something with an emotion, one of the options in mindfulness practice is to make more room for the emotion, to increase the space in which it's held, space of awareness, space of the mind. And doing so allows us to more kind of clarity to see what's there. When we're crowded with the emotion or identified with it strongly, it's hard to see what's there. And sometimes what's there is something deeper. Some emotions are just, something knocking on the door, saying, "Here, come here, take a deeper look." So, relaxing is part of this path to making more room. Learning the art of simple recognition is part of this path. So, assuming a meditation posture and kind of a little bit wiggling around a little bit in your posture and maybe to loosen things up a little bit. When I first was taught meditation in Zen, I got the instructions to flap the elbows around a little bit, to kind of maybe loosen up the ways in which holding happens in the arms and the hands. It's kind of like a chicken. And then kind of find a aligned posture, in whatever way your posture you're in. Is it aligned? Does it somehow allow the maximum feeling of the body being in position? So there could be a flow or a deeper relaxation. Lowering your gaze, softening your gaze, cooling your eyes. And then gently closing your eyes. And with your eyes closed, might there be a deeper sensitivity now for your body and its posture? Maybe gently having the attention travel up the spine, from the base of the spine. Are there any small adjustments that you would like to make? Partly so that the spine itself feels more alert, more here. And then to Take a few long, slow, deep breaths, as if you have all the time in the world to savor the inhale, to ride the exhale. And on that exhale, to relax the body more. Maybe a global relaxation. And letting the breathing return to normal. And on the inhale, let your attention roam around your body, kind of to pick up or to feel any place where there's holding in the body. And on the exhale, relax that part of your body. So it's kind of a random, whatever shows itself to you. Relax as you exhale. Relaxing deep in your belly. Softening the belly. And then for about 3 or 4 breaths, settle into your breathing. Give yourself over to the inhales and exhales for just 3 or 4 breaths. And then now, notice how you're feeling. It might feel like an emotional state. It might be a mood, mental state. You might not think of it particularly as an emotion, but more that you're calm or agitated. It might feel more like a physical state. Whatever it might be, recognize it. And as you exhale, is there any relaxation you can do around it, in the middle of it? Or any relaxation you can do in the mind's relationship to it. And as if you can have more space around how you feel, feel your way into that space around how you feel. Maybe you can feel or imagine a sense of openness, spaciousness, expansiveness around whatever way you're feeling. Relax into that spaciousness. And then, as if there's lots of space for breathing, let the breathing come and go in the space of the mind, with breathing at the center, not to push away how you're feeling or deny it, but not to be involved with how you feel, letting you just be there in the spaciousness of the mind, and you gently settling in on breathing in and breathing out. If you are involved in your thinking, chances are there's no space for how you feel. If you're reacting to what's happening, chances are there's not much space for how you feel. Not so much space for breathing. Release your thinking. Release your reactivity. Release any contraction or narrowness. And relax into the space of awareness, space so you can better breathe with what is, with lots of breathing room. then as we come to the end of this sitting, as you exhale, breathe, relax again. What are you able to relax, release here at the end of the sitting? In the face, in the shoulders, the belly, in the heart, in the mind. And the ability to relax can be seen as a gift that we bring into the world. If you're with small children and you're tense and anxious, by osmosis you're teaching the children that there are things to be afraid of, things to be tense about. But if you know how to relax and be with the small children in a relaxed, open, non-anxious way, you teach those children that the world is a comfortable enough place to be happy and playful and at ease. If you go into the world and the people around you are in challenged by their health or by work or by the world around them, perhaps it's a gift that you come into the world in a calm way, relaxed way. Just relaxed in an appropriate way. So by osmosis, we are spreading non-anxiousness, non-agitation, making room for others to relax as well. May it be that as we do this practice, that we support the world, we help the world around us to be less anxious, less agitated and tense. Not by making them or teaching them how to do it, but by our own relaxation, ease, calm, non-agitation. May we not keep the benefits of meditation for ourselves. Let us share it with others. Maybe without them knowing that we're meditators, just by our presence. May it be that this practice we do is for the welfare and happiness of all beings. May all beings be happy. May all beings be safe. May all beings be peaceful. And may all beings everywhere be free. In discussing mindfulness of emotion, the theme for today is respect. So we started with relaxation and recognition, and now respect. As we relax, it's easier to recognize. As we recognize, it's easier to recognize how we are relating to our emotional life. Are we relating? Do we have an attitude towards it, which is making it more difficult than it needs to be? Do we identify with it strongly, defining ourselves by it? Do we have hostility towards it? Do we not like it and push it away? Do we have shame or embarrassment about it? Do we have ideas that it should be different? Are we trying to get rid of things? Are we trying to have certain emotions, certain feelings, certain attitudes to the world? And are we kind of forcing, maybe even sugarcoating experience by trying too hard? Or are we holding on to things? Maybe we were happy yesterday, and so we're holding on to that idea that we should be. And as we started recognizing the component parts of emotions, we see the extra reactivity we might have to it. And seeing that reactivity is the beginning of respect. And I really like this word respect because from the Latin it means to see again, to like spectacle, to look again. And so to start taking a deeper look at what's here. And if we can see our reactivity, maybe we can put it aside enough that we can bring a respectful attention to the emotion itself. And as if it's allowed to be there. Because the disrespectful ways are often trying to change something or hold on to something and not allowing it to be itself. So the second look, the vipassana look, really taking a deeper look, making space for it, allowing it for it to be there. I like the idea that we're giving permission for our emotions to be present. And it's a little different than allowing. It's a little more active. It's like a choice. It's a decision. I'm going to offer. It's like a generosity. I'm going to offer permission for myself to be the way I am. And as I said yesterday, I think sitting in meditation is a wonderful place to do this because you're kind of committed to sitting still and not acting on whatever the feelings might be. So, there might be some anger that seems very undesirable, very strong. But in meditation, we give it permission to be there. And then, or if there's sadness or grief, or if there's joy and happiness, we give permission for it to be there. As we give permission for it to be there and just allow it to be there without our reactivity or judgments, or with those put aside enough so we can really respect it, what's there, then I find it useful to think of emotions as either a message or a messenger. As a message, emotions are here. They're not random. They're not incidental, accidental phenomena just to kind of come through. They have some kind of message in them. And maybe the message is that asking for respect. Maybe the message is to saying to you, here's an opportunity for you to discover how to be non-attached, how to not cling or resist, and to make more space. But it might be a deeper message, so and then anger might be a message that we feel hurt or we feel threatened. Sadness might be a message that we might feel that we feel really impacted, we really care, we love something, and that love now feels feels sad, but the love is underneath it. And so it's a message of love. And so rather than to think of grief and sadness as a problem, it's a manifestation, it's a movement, it's a process that love needs to go through to be whole again or to find its way again. But sometimes emotions are messengers. And especially I think of this way when the emotions are afflictive, when the emotions are bringing suffering along to us, and then you don't want to kill the messenger. You want to really see what is the message here. So the ability to respect and give permission and make breathing room, allow for emotions to be there, that's such a big part of mindfulness. Then we start kind of seeing more deeply through the cracks of it. What else shows itself? So it's not digging, it's not analyzing, but feeling our way deeply into the emotion. What else is there? And so if it's with anger, perhaps, what's there with it is hurt. What's there with it is fear. And that is what needs our attention. That's more primary. And so the messenger is pointing to these deeper underlying kind of feelings that are there. If there is grief, sometimes the messenger is that there is love. And it's like, hey, have you really taken into account how much love there's been about what you've lost? Sometimes the message of despair is a message of feeling fear or feeling inadequate in some way. Sometimes the message of the messenger is that it's time to take a deep, honest look at the self-identity issues, the way we define ourselves, the way that we insert ourselves, me, myself, and mine, into our life. And some emotions have to do with either the self-identity, self-definition we have, has been threatened. And so boredom, for example, sometimes is a symptom of whatever is happening around has no bearing on my self-concept, how I like to define myself or assert myself in the world. No one's praising me. I'm not getting any real kind of praise, and no one's criticizing me. Both of those which are very riveting for some people. And without either one of those, the situation has no bearing. I'm not building up myself in it, or it's not threatened with it, and so it's boring, the situation. So boredom sometimes the whole, has to do sometimes with the complex of self-identity. Sometimes hostility, sometimes fear, sometimes all the emotions are closely connected to how threatened or how supported our idea of who we should be is. And so by really respecting emotions, taking our time, making room for it and allowing it, then we can start seeing the underlying kind of processes that are going on that are deeper. So sometimes you can ask, what is the message here in this emotion? And that way also it's very respectful of emotions. It's kind of like they all have something to say. They're not accidental, incidental. They all represent some deeper thing that's going on. It doesn't require analysis when you do Vipassana practice, but what it involves is this kind of more sensitive looking, this more sensitive being present, breathing with it, making room for it, allowing it to be there, so that we can hear the subtler messages that are going on with it. We can see the subtler process that goes on. And part of this permission for emotions to be there, part of this respect for emotions, is that the emotions themselves have the wisdom to process themselves, to find their way to peace. If we make room for it, if we really make space for it, if we don't interfere with them or grab a hold of them or repress them, or if we don't, acting on emotions, especially when you're in meditation, interferes with that deeper process towards healing, towards peace, to resolution, that is kind of inherent in the emotions themselves. So to respect emotions, and if you are challenged with an emotion, um, and it's really caught you in some powerful way, and you would like to try this respect thing, you might put your hands together in the Anjali and bow to your emotions. And just bow. And if you want to, really do something powerful, you bow and say thank you. Thank you for what you're trying to do for me, or what the message you're bringing, or how this is the best I can do at the moment to try to work with this difficult world. But kind of bow to the emotions, and and as a way of as an alternative to being entangled, reactive, judgmental for there. And you might try it. It's possible that one of the greatest goods you can do for your emotional life is to offer a deep respect to it, and maybe even a kind of reverence for it that gets you out of the way of it. But in meditation, protects you from acting on it in ways that may or may not be healthy. So, thank you, and then we'll continue tomorrow on this topic. So for today, for the next 24 hours, you might, if this idea of bowing to your emotions is at all interesting for you, you might either do it or physically, or you might actually do it in your imagination. Try bowing to your emotions and see what happens. But give room for your emotions. That's the most important thing. And if you have enough ability to take a break, if you're in the middle of something, work or family life or something, and you have a strong emotional response, and you don't usually do this, see if you can go take a walk around the block with it. Take the emotions with you. Just like you can take the emotions for a walk, and use that maybe as a time to make room for it, to respect it, listen to it more deeply, and see what happens if that's an alternative to how you usually are with emotions. Try this alternative. Try the respecting, and see what happens over the next time. So, thank you.